Every year, the Pinal County Medical Examiner's Office compiles an annual report. The annual report is essentially a snapshot of our caseload for the previous year. It's utilized for various different reasons. It's a tool that our stakeholders in the community, be it hospitals, law enforcement agencies, county attorney's office, and the public at large can use to get an understanding of what our caseload was and what the trends for different types of different categories of death have been throughout the years.
It's so important for the annual report because it's a capture all the main event of the year, including the cases we covered and the type of deaths.
For drug-related deaths, deaths that occur in the prison system, things like that, infant deaths, it's a really good way to keep track of everything, but also show kind of the impact that our office has and why we're needed within the system to investigate these deaths.
Compiling the annual report, it's very work intensive, labor intensive. What we have to do is go through and take a look at all of our caseloads throughout the year. And for each of those cases, we look at a number of different factors. So we look at not only the cause and the manner of death, but we look at different demographics for the individual, their age, their sex, their gender. We take a look at different circumstances surrounding their lifestyle. So their health history, their use of alcohol or drugs. We take a look at history of mental illness. So there's a lot of different factors that we consider when we compile the annual report.
Our office, the Pinal County Medical Examiner, we work with Gila County very closely.
Gila County does not have its own medical examiner's office, so they contract us to investigate the deaths that occur within their geographical boundaries.
But they also have about 50,000 people live in the county, whereas Pinal County is about 500,000 people. So it's about 10% of our workload is Gila County. And the Yuma County office works with us as well. They come to our office for any forensic cases where they might need a forensic pathologist to look at it, which is a special designation. So usually we work with Yuma County and Gila County very closely.
In 2024, Pinal County actually outpaced the growth of state of Arizona. The state of Arizona grew by 2% in population, whereas Pinal County alone grew by about 3.6% in population. So Pinal County is one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Arizona. And as the population increases, unfortunately, so does the death rate in the county.
Overall casework increased by 13% in Pinal County alone, but if we also cover part of Yuma and Gila County, so overall it's about 10%. So there's a 10% increase minimum, 10 to 13%.
In 2024, there were a total of 84 motor vehicle deaths involving a car or motor vehicle, which includes pedestrians, drivers, and motorcyclists. That is an increase in 23% from 2023. And 65% of the drivers in fatal deaths were unrestrained at the time. As well as 45% of drivers returned positive toxicology results. The most common substance detected was alcohol, above the legal limit. And for motorcycle deaths, THC was the most common substance detected.
Living in Arizona, it's known that we have pretty brutal summers as far as the temperatures. Last year in particular was pretty brutal in terms of both temperatures as well as the duration of which we had high temperatures throughout the summer. So we did see an increase in hypothermia deaths. Last year went from 20 in 2023 to 35 in 2024. The vast majority of these individuals that died as a result of hyperthermia were above the age of 71, and the vast majority had comorbidities as well, particularly cardiac disease, so hypertension, congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation, other cardiac abnormalities, the vast majority had in common. What was shocking to me with regards to the hyperthermia deaths is when we compiled the data, we found that approximately 77% of individuals who died indoors as the result of hyperthermia either had non-functional air conditioning units or the air conditioning unit was not adequate. So it may have been functional, but it wasn't cooling to a proper temperature.
In 2024, there were unfortunately 7 infant deaths, which is classified as birth to 1 year of age. 42% of those deaths were attributed to unsafe sleep conditions, which is classified as co-sleeping, bed sharing, having a child on an adult bed with too much bedding or pillows, just anything around that could block the baby's airway. There were 16 deaths of children, which is age 1 to 14, and 62% of those deaths were accidental from preventable causes like motor vehicle accidents or firearm injuries.
What was interesting about this particular year is it's the first year since 2000 that methamphetamine was actually the most common drug that was found in toxicological analysis. Since 2000, it's actually been fentanyl. Fentanyl was a close second this year, but methamphetamine was the #1 substance that was found in toxicological analysis in 2024.
What I found surprising is that we are still seeing a lot of motor vehicle accidents where people are not wearing seatbelts, which is disappointing and also sad that there are ways that these deaths possibly could have been prevented. I think the goal is to show what our office does, and also it's really interesting to just track the trends. People who are interested in the field, they can kind of read about what we investigate. If you have no knowledge of what a medical examiner is or what a death investigator is, you can kind of find out what we investigate, like car accidents, drug-related deaths, things like that.
Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to work at 3 different offices in 3 different states. I can honestly say that this is the best office I've worked at. It's a biased opinion, I understand that, but the passion that our investigative staff, our pathologist staff, our forensic technician staff that they show on a day-to-day basis is unparalleled compared to any other office that I've worked at.
The deaths we investigate are usually sudden and unexpected and sometimes violent, so we are always as compassionate as we can be with family members and as well as law enforcement.
We pay our utmost respect to every patient that come into this office, regardless their background, whether or not they are abandoned, skeletonized, or decomposed. That's a minimum requirement that we had. We always treat every case equally.
We do our best to treat each decedent with respect and compassion, and also understand that their family members are going through a really difficult time, that it may be completely unexpected and something that they weren't prepared for, which you can't prepare for death, but we are here to help you through that process.
We do have the difficult job of speaking to families on what could easily be considered the worst day of their lives. But at the same time, we recognize that those families deserve answers. They deserve to have a professional and a thorough death investigation to get them answers as far as what the cause and manner of death is for their loved one. And obviously the respect that we show to the deceased themselves. We recognize that yes, we have a job to do, but at the same time, this is someone's mother, this is someone's father, this is their child. We make sure that we show them that due respect in handling all the aspects of our job here at the office.